Yeah. Yeah, it's better.
Just wanted to check and make sure it's working. Okay, so we're gonna review Unit 1, page 5. So, yes, page 5. I just want to make sure that everyone has the answers, because if you don't have the answers, you cannot study. Okay, fine. So it's up to you to study your vocabulary words. You know all the meanings. You need to study your vocabulary words. So we're focusing today on the listening and everything else. So I just want to go over, make sure everyone has this. So number 1 is G. Number 2 is I. Number 3 is J. Number 4 is A. It's D. Excuse me. Number 5 is E. Number 6 is A. Number 7 is B. Number 8 is C. Number 9 is F. And number 10 is H. Okay. Let me just make sure that this is all, because I've been getting a lot of spam calls. Okay, so we're not going to do page 5. We're going to go on to page 6. So I'm going to play this.
Page 6, main ideas. Exercise 1. Thank you for joining us at enduranceradio.com. We've got another great interview for you today. We're going to be speaking with Jay Batchett. He was the first American to finish the Marathon des Sables. We're going to hear about that and his background in ultra running and a little bit about his background in endurance sports in general. So Jay, thanks very much for joining us. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us on the phone.
Thank you, Tim. My pleasure.
So talk about the Marathon des Sables. How did you get into that?
It's funny how I did get into the Marathon des Sables. I was introduced to it while working for the Discovery Channel. I filmed the event in 1999, which is actually the year my wife, Lisa Smith-Batchen, won the event. And that's how I ended up in Morocco and ended up learning about the event myself.
So did you know Lisa before that event, or you met her there?
Met her there.
Okay, so you ended up marrying the winner of the race that you were filming.
Yep.
Oh, very good. So talk about that race. How did that start? How long is it? Where is it? That sort of thing for our listeners that may not know.
Sure. The race it takes place in the Sahara Desert in southern Morocco, just outside of the Atlas Mountains. And the course is different every year. For instance, this year it was a 154-mile course. And the year I ran it in 2000, it was about 148 that year. So it just changes year to year. And obviously the terrain will change as well, since the course does.
Now, is this a stage race, or is it just start and go to you finish?
No, this particular race is a stage race, and the format is fairly similar each year, in that the first 3 stages are all around 20 miles, give or take. And then the 4th stage is a 50-mile long stage. Then that's followed by a full marathon. And the last day basically makes up the difference. Just gets you back into a town, and it's a little shorter, gives everyone a chance to get across the finish line and get back to the small town where we rendezvous and clean up for a nice night of awards and festivities.
If you're able to stay standing at that point, I guess.
Definitely. And what's unique about this race is that you do have to carry all of your food, extra clothing, and things like that for the entire event. You are given a ration of water each day at checkpoints, roughly about 6 to 8 miles in length. So you're sleeping in a tent every night. There are sandstorms. You're sharing the tent with 8 other people. It's not fully enclosed. So you have wind and sand and people snoring and rustling next to you. You're sleeping on rocks.
Well, Jay, it doesn't sound like a whole lot of fun. So, in the night you're not getting a lot of sleep. But what is it for you? What does the race do for you personally?
That's a good question, and it's a question that many people ask. And what I tell them is that this more than a race. It's a life experience. And what I mean by that is you're sharing a tent with 8 other people, and you're going through the same highs and lows every day. It might not be at the same time, but you're running in the same heat, you're running in the same wind, you're sleeping in the same sandstorms and on the cold nights. And for me, it's about meeting the other people that are running this event and sharing stories with them and sharing the experience with them. And it's so hard to describe to someone who hasn't been there and run the event. So for me, it's completing the distance and knowing that I can do it, feeling that I can do it, but it's meeting the people from all over the world, from all walks of life, and just sharing it with them that makes it special.
So let's just go over this and then we'll play it again. Okay, so number one, they wanted you to change, cross out the false information and put the correct information. So Jay Batchin is an endurance runner, or Tim is a sports reporter, so either one. Number two, Jay Batchin didn't run in the race. Number three, during the 1999 race, Jay met his wife, married. Number four, the Marathon des Sables has 5 stages, not one. Number five, runners have to carry food. What? Number 6, runners sleep outside not outside, they sleep in a tent. In a tent. And number 7, Jay feels that the race was a life experience, not a terrible experience. I'll play it again and we'll go over the answers here. The listening on the test should not be as long. It should be shorter listening. So you're not going to have a long listening like this. I'm pretty sure it's going to be shorter.
Page 6, main ideas. Exercise 1. Thank you for joining us at EnduranceRadio.com. We've got another great interview for you today. We're going to be speaking with Jay Batchin. He was the first American to finish the Marathon des Sables. We're going to hear about that and his background in ultra running and a little bit about his background in endurance sports in general. So Jay, thanks very much for joining us. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us on the phone.
Thank you, Tim. It's my pleasure.
So talk about the Marathon des Sables.
I was introduced to it while working for the Discovery Channel. I filmed the event in 1999, which is actually the year my wife, Lisa Smith-Batchin, won the event. And that's how I ended up in Morocco and ended up learning about the event myself.
So did you know Lisa before that event, or you met her there?
Met her there.
Okay, so you ended up marrying the winner of the race that you were filming?
Yep.
Oh, very good. So talk about that race. How did that start? How long is it? Where is it? That sort of thing for listeners that may not know.
Sure. The race takes place in the Sahara Desert in southern Morocco, just outside of the Atlas Mountains. And the course is different every year. For instance, this year it was a 154-mile course. And the year I ran it in 2000, it was about 148 that year. So it just changes year to year. And obviously the terrain will change as well, since the course does.
Now, is this a stage race, or is it just start and go to you finish?
Now, this particular race is a stage race, and the format is fairly similar each year, in that the first 3 stages are all around 20 miles, give or take. And then the 4th stage is a 50-mile long stage. Then that's followed by a full marathon. And the last day basically makes up the difference. Just gets you back into a town, and it's a little shorter, gives everyone a chance to get across the finish line and get back to the small town where we rendezvous and clean up for a nice night of awards and festivities.
If you're able to stay standing at that point, I guess.
Definitely. And what's unique about this race is that you do have to carry all of your food, extra clothing, and things like that for the entire event. You are given a ration of water each day, checkpoints, roughly about 6 to 8 miles in length. So, I mean, you're sleeping in a tent every night. There are sandstorms. You're sharing the tent with 8 other people. It's not fully enclosed. So you have wind and sand and people snoring and rustling next to you. You're sleeping on rocks.
Well, Jay, it doesn't sound like a whole lot of fun. So, and in the night you're not getting a lot of sleep. But what is it for you? What does the race do for you personally?
That's a good question, and it's a question that many people ask. And what I tell them is that this race is more than a race. It's a life experience. And what I mean by that is you're sharing a tent with 8 other people, and you're going through the same highs and lows every day. It might not be at the same time, but you're running in the same heat, you're running in the same wind, you're sleeping in the same sandstorms and on the cold nights. And for me, it's about meeting the other people that are running this event and sharing stories with them and sharing the experience with them. And it's so hard to describe to someone who hasn't been there and run the event. So for me, it's completing the distance and knowing that I can do it, feeling that I can do it. But it's meeting the people from all over the world, from all walks of life, and just sharing it with them that makes it special.
Okay. So, number one, in 1999, Jay Batchin was filming. So it's B. Number two, Jay Batchin's future wife, Lisa C., won the race in 1999. Number three, the race course changes every year. That's A. Number four, the first 3 stages are all about B, 20 miles. Number five, the 4th stage is B, 50 miles. Number 6, the 5th stage is C, a full marathon. Number 7, runners get B, a ration of water. Number 8, runners sleep in tents that are B, crowded and uncomfortable. Number 9, Jay Batchin said that he experienced A, heat, cold, and sandstorms. And number 10, Jay Batchin called the race a life experience because B, he shared the experience with other runners. Any questions? Okay. So page 9, I'm just going to give you the answers. We don't need to do that because that's not going to be on the test. So excerpt 1 is B and excerpt 2 is C. Everyone got that? Okay. Page 10. Like I said, we're just doing a review today. Page 10, I will just give you the answer so you have it. Number 1, goal is D. Number 2, achieve is B. Number 3, motivation is E. Number 4, opponent is C. And number 5, challenge is A. I will play the next one.
Listening to Sports Psychology, page 10, comprehension.
So last time, with the growth of endurance sports, a question came up about the motivation for getting into these sports. Why would anyone want to go through so much physical pain and stress? What's in it for them? Well, looking at the research, there are a couple points that seem especially important. One of these is the personality of endurance athletes. As a group, these people tend to be high achievers, people who set high goals for themselves, both in sports and in life in general. They like difficult challenges, and they aren't happy with goals that are easy to achieve. So endurance sports fits right into this type of personality. These sports are very difficult, very extreme, like ultra marathons, where people run hundreds of miles, often in extreme heat or cold. But the athletes get a lot of satisfaction from it. And when setting goals, most endurance athletes don't focus on winning the race. Instead, they have personal goals, like maybe just finishing the race is enough, or finishing with a better time than before. So it's really more about the athletes challenging themselves, doing their personal best, and all to do better. Another source of motivation is the relationship between the athletes. In general, endurance athletes don't see the other athletes in a race as opponents or people they're trying to beat. Instead, they see them as partners in this unique adventure, doing something that no one else is doing. They share the highs and lows of the race, the pain and the pleasure, and they feel that they are in the experience together. And the athletes report this as a life-changing experience, an emotional high that keeps them wanting to come back for more. So this strong emotional experience is a big part of the motivation.
Okay, so let's go over the answers for this. Number one, endurance athletes are often B, high achievers. Number two, they focus on achieving personal goals, not C, winning the race. Number three, they choose goals that C, are a difficult challenge. Number four, they usually feel the other athletes are C, partners in the experience. Number five, endurance athletes are also motivated by A, the strong emotions they feel while racing. Any questions? Okay, page 12. I'm just going to give you the answers. We're not going to go over this because this is not going to be on the test. So number one is B. Number two is D. Number three is A. And number four is D. Any questions? Page 13, we don't need to do. So that's done. On to page 14. Does everyone have page 14 done? Or do you want me to read the vocabulary, the words? Does everyone have all the answers on page 14?
Yes.
Okay, because it's hard to do the words if you don't have it. Everyone has it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't need to review that. Page 15. I can review this quickly. Okay, so A is 3. B is 4. C is 6. D is 1. E is 2, and F is 5. So those are the words that are on top. Threw me for a loop, be my own worst enemy, set my heart on, blow my chance, easier said than done, and I have what it takes. So that's where the numbers are coming from. Okay. Go on to the next page. Okay, so we don't need to do page 16 because that's not necessary. Okay. We need to do page 17. Okay, reciprocal pronouns and reflexive pronouns. So I will go over it. Use a reflexive pronoun when the subject and object of the sentence are the same person or thing. The reflective pronouns are myself, yourself, herself, himself, itself, ourselves, yourselves, and themselves. So Jay Batchin pushed himself to limit, or they put themselves in dangerous situations. So I could say that, you know, Wei came to class by himself. Notice I don't say Wei came to class by herself, because Wei is not a she, Wei is a he, right? Right, Mine? Wei, mine keeps calling you she. He's thinking of your last name, not your pronoun. So remember that the pronoun has to match the person. So I cannot talk about Kelly and say he. Unless I'm talking about Anna's boyfriend, it's okay. Use yourself or yourselves in imperative situations that are reflexive. Okay. Believe in yourself and you will, because that's imperative, as we went over yesterday, always means you, and it starts with a verb. Or yourselves when it's plural. Prepare yourselves for a tough race. So we know the difference if it's one person or more. But the pronoun is always you, but it's not there. Use a reciprocal pronoun when the subject and object are the same people, and the people have a relationship. Use each other for two people. Remember, each other is two people. Marge and Susan competed against each other. One another for more than two people. The athletes competed against one another. Note, often people use each other and one another in the same way. So it means that sometimes it would be okay to use each other or one another. I will show you on the next page. Page 18. Reciprocal pronouns and plural reflexive pronouns have different meanings. So Marge and Susan helped each other, which means Marge helped Susan and Susan helped Marge. However, Marge and Susan helped themselves, which means Marge helped herself and Susan helped herself. So it doesn't mean the same thing. You understand the difference? Does everyone understand the difference? When you're talking about each other, so Kelly and Anna helped each other, which means Kelly helped Anna and Anna helped Kelly. But if I say that Kelly and Anna helped themselves, that means Kelly only helped Kelly and Anna only helped Anna. So it's a different meaning. I'm going to go over these mean the words, the correct words. Actually, I'll let Kelly read the first one.
The 18
Page 18. Yeah.
here. You say
Yeah.
here. This is Piero
Wow.
Blanket reporting on the extreme alpine road race in France. I'm talking to Thomas Hogan, coach of cyclist British Jacobson. Thomas, what does British do to Twitter? Herself for this race.
Right. So Bridget is a girl, so it's herself. Okay, Anna number 2.
No, she put herself put a party hat.
Pretty hard.
Party hat. She get up to at 4 p.m. every day to write, and she only take one day off a month.
Right. So she means herself. Okay. Next, Ronald, read the next one. Wow. I know. Yes. Wow. I know. No, you're not reading this the correct thing. Start at the where it says Pierre. Wow.
Number 3.
I know. Wow. Wow. I know. No. Her brother Hans is on the same team. Do Bridget, Hans help each other
other,
with train.
and
Right, so it's each other because Bridget helps Hans and Hans helps Bridget. Okay, number 4, line.
Wow.
Four,
Wow.
absolutely.
Wow.
Thomas,
Absolutely. They are both part of a bigger team. All the athletes have one another to set personal goals.
so there's more than 2 athletes, so they use one another.
how about the number 3, the people is the one
Okay,
each other or other.
each other or one another, either one is okay, but according to the rules, you should be using each other because there's only 2. No, don't erase it. You can use either one, it's okay. But the problem is that I'm not the one giving the test on the grammar. So I don't know if Janice is going to allow you to use a different one. So try to stick with the rules and just use each other. Okay. So you must be very proud of a big win in the race today. Okay, number 5. Wait.
Yes, the whole team is very happy. We're all going to reward ourselves when ourselves with a bigger.
So we means many people, so ourselves, because there's more than 2. Okay. That's great. One last question. What can you do to motivate Bridget to keep going? Okay, so Louis,
One last.
no, the next one, Thomas. I always,
say, believe in yourself. You have to have confidence. If you want to win.
now, why is it yourself and not herself? Yourself is correct. Why?
You have to contact you.
No,
If you want to
No.
win,
no.
you yourself.
Believe in yourself is an imperative. Remember? Right. Believe in yourself is an imperative, which always means I always say you believe in yourself. Even though you is not there, that's called an imperative. Because a sentence starts with a verb. That's why it's always you. Right. Imperative means don't smoke. Don't drink. Right. There is no subject, but the subject is, unless you say, Wei, don't smoke, the subject is always you. We did that on see number 2 on 17. Use yourself and yourselves in imperative sentences. We just did that. Any questions? Okay. So page 19, we don't need to do. Page 20, we don't need to do. I don't think that they're going to be using that. Okay, let me just go over the answers on page 21. So number 1 is every other day, my 2 classmates and I go for a walk. Number 2, the other day, we were walking in the park behind a very old couple. They were holding hands and talking to each other. Now, again, I would accept one another. However, according to the rules, the couple means only 2 people. It wasn't 3 people. So the rules state it should be each other. Number 4, the woman slipped on something or other and fell. Number 5, some other people were passing by, but they didn't do anything. Okay, and number 6, we ran to help them, and when we saw them, we realized we all knew one another. So it's 4 people. It's the couple, it's the 2 of us, actually 3 of us. Because it's the 2 mates and I, that's 3, and then the couple, so that's 5 people. So 5 people is one another. Any questions? Okay, so on the bottom, I'm just gonna go over the answers so you know. Okay, so number 1 is D, page 21. Number 2 is E. Number 3 is A. Number 4 is B. And number 5 is C. So those are talking about, on the right side are all idioms. So the idioms go with the ones on the left side. So the idioms are, remember, idioms, you cannot look up idioms in your dictionary unless you look up the whole thing. Any questions about that? Speaking skill, we don't need to do speaking skill. Speaking skill is not going to be on the test. Page 24, we don't need to do. Okay. Page 25, we don't need to do. Remember, we're going to focus on speaking on Tuesday. So next Tuesday is only for speaking. Right now, we're practicing for the listening test, which is going to have listening and vocabulary. And then we're doing grammar because grammar is going to be on Janice's test, not mine. There's no grammar on my test. Okay, so 26 and 27, we don't need. So we're finished with unit 1. Okay, so before we go on to unit 2, let's go over the vocabulary words. Remember, it's up to you, page 216. It's up to you to study the words. I cannot stress how important it is for you to know the vocabulary words. I know it seems like a lot of words because there's about 60 words there, but if you don't know the vocabulary words, you will not do well on the test. Now, the test is going to be 20 questions from listening. So it's like 5 from each unit. And then 20 vocabulary questions. I think I'm not sure, but I think the listening questions are going to be worth 3 points each, and the vocabulary are going to be worth 2 points each, because that would be 5 points each. But I'm not sure yet. I have to wait and see. Okay, so unit 2. Authorize. Authorize, what does authorize mean? Permission. Okay. Charge. Right, to pay a bill or a credit card. Commit. Do something bad. Confirm.
Yes.
Yes. Deal with. Right, to do something. Exposed. Open. File a complaint. Right, to complain about something, but you're calling, usually you're calling like a company or something like that. Like, let's say someone charged your credit card and you're filing a complaint. Well, there have been people that filed a complaint in the office here. Paranoid. Worry too much. Not just worry too much. Proof of identification or proof of ID just means like driver's license or green card. You know, as long as you know the example, that's fine. Protect. Keep safe. Purchase means to buy something. Risk, to take a chance. Shred, right, to rip many pieces. Usually they're talking about paper. Tip. Okay, in this unit, tip is advice. And victim. Right. Victim is the person that something bad happened. Okay, so if you're a victim of identity theft, that means that somebody stole your identity. So the victim is the person that the bad thing happened. Any questions about that? Okay. We got that 3 handsome guys here, so that's good. Okay. Mine, put your hat up a little bit. Yeah.
I'm bored.
No. Just put your hat so they can see your face.
That's-
No, you can keep your hat on. They have to see how handsome you are. Okay, so unit 2, page 31. Page 31. Again, I'm just going to go over the vocabulary so everyone has the answers. Page 31. Everyone has page 31? Okay, so number 1 is D. Number 2 is B. Number 3 is E. Number 4 is H. Number 5 is J. Number 6 is I. Number 7 is C. Number 8 is A. Number 9 is F. And number 10 is G. Okay. So now we're going to go on to the page 32.
Page 32, main ideas. Exercise 1.
Lily's wallet was stolen at a restaurant. The thief used her personal information to open credit cards in her name, but she had no idea she was a victim of identity theft. Then one day, she was home working on her computer, and she got a call from a department store. In this story, Lily describes what happened next.
So I was at the computer and the phone rang. I got this phone call and she said, well, we have here that you bought a diamond ring. So I'm just confirming the purchase because it's quite a bit of money. And I said, well, what is it? And she says, it's a $5,000 diamond ring. And I said, no, I haven't left the house today. So I wouldn't have bought a diamond ring. And anyway, I don't go to that store. I don't go to your store anymore. And so she said, well, somebody who has your name has purchased a diamond ring for $5,000. I said, $5,000, a diamond ring? Well, that's not me. I didn't buy it. And I don't authorize the purchase of this diamond ring. Okay. So we have a problem. And she said, we don't have a problem. I hate to tell you this, you have a problem. And I said, what are you talking about? She said, I hate to break the news to you, but I think that you have been a victim of identity theft. And I said, a victim of what? And she said, identity theft. And she said, well, when you get this bill, and I said, excuse me, I'm going to get a bill for this? She says, oh, yes. When you get the bill, you need to file a complaint. And I said, oh, boy. So I did that. I filed a complaint. And then it just went from bad to worse. On Monday, I got home from work and I checked my mail and there was a bill from another department store and another department store. On Tuesday, there were 2 more bills from 2 other department stores. On Wednesday, there were 3 bills from 3 consumer electronics stores. On Thursday, there were 4 bills from a jewelry store, a clothing store, another department store. By Friday, I had accumulated close to 38 or 39 bills. And I was up to probably close to $30,000 worth of charges, if not more. So by the end of the week, I was feeling totally helpless and like a total victim. What do I do now? I have $30,000 worth of credit card bills in my name with my address. And I felt really exposed. Somebody knows who I am, where I live, what my phone number is, and I'm helpless to stop this. So what did I do? Every night I had to deal with these bills. What you have to do is you have to make copies of the police report, et cetera, that my wallet was stolen. You have to describe in detail what they had purchased, and you have to write a letter to every single one of these stores that charged me, explaining what had happened. And you hope that they will not keep the charges there for you. It took about, I would say, close to 4 months before the whole thing died away. And just a lot of time and a lot of worry. I worried a lot. And the paranoia hasn't left. I mean, I'm still really conscious and nervous about receipts I have. I always rip them up into many tiny little pieces. And the other thing that is really scary is how easy it is to open up credit cards. Shocking. You can go into any store and you can just give them your name, your address. You don't need any proof of identification, and you can open up a credit card at that particular store. You don't really check who you are. How many clerks really look at the back of your credit card and check your signature? Not many. There's all sorts of ways that your identity can be stolen. So I think everybody should be paranoid.
Okay, so number 1 is A. Number 2 is A. Number 3 is B. And number 4 is C. I'm not going to play it again because I want to get through this unit quickly. Remember, you can review it on Zoom, today, not on Google Classroom. They're going to put it on Google Classroom tonight. Okay, so the details. So number 1 is department store. Number 2 is diamond ring, on page 33. Number 3 is home. Number 4 is file a complaint. Number 5 is 40 bills. Number 6 is 30,000. Number 7 is name and address. Number 8 is the police report. Number 9 is 4 months. And number 10 is getting a credit card is too easy. Any questions? 34, we don't need to do, we're going to skip it, but I'm just going to give you the answers. Okay. Number 1 is AB. Number 2 is BA, and number 3 is AB. Just so you have the answers. We don't need that. You don't need to study that for the test. Number 35, page 35. So number 1 is D. Number 2 is C. Number 3 is A. Number 4 is B. And number 5 is E. And those, of course, are the words that are on top. You can see them. Commit, protect, risk, tip, and shrink. Okay. Moving right along. So now we're going to do page 36.
Listening to public service announcements, page 36. Comprehension. Public service announcement 1.
Hello.
American Bank Visa, may I help you? Yes, I'm calling about my credit card bill. There's a charge for $4,000 $1,000 that I know I didn't make.
Think you're safe from identity theft? Think again. Every minute, 19 people in the United States have their identity stolen. However, there are things that you can do to reduce your risk. First, get a lock. Don't let a thief steal your and use it to steal your identity. Second, be careful when someone asks you for personal information. Don't give out information over the phone, by mail, or on the internet unless you know who you're dealing with. To see more tips on avoiding identity theft, visit the Identity Theft.
Public service announcement 2. Hear that sound? That's the sound of a crime being committed. Every day, criminals find personal information from papers that we throw away. It doesn't take much. A name, an address, an ID number, and the thief has all he needs to commit identity theft. Hear that sound? That's the sound of someone protecting himself from becoming a victim of identity theft. It only takes a minute to shred papers with personal information, but it can save you years of stress and worry. Identity theft is the #1 crime in the United States, with 10 million cases reported this year. Don't become the next victim. To find out how you can stay safe, call the Identity Theft.
Okay, so here you were supposed to check the tips that you hear. So you would check 1, 2, and 4. That's it. Everyone got that? Page 37, we don't need to do. We're going to skip that. Page 38, we don't need to do. Page 39, we need to do this because this might be on a test. I don't know if it's on a test about connotation. So you need to know the difference between positive, negative, and neutral. So positive, safe, protect, confirm, deal with, shred, tip, authorize. Negative is fraud, expose, file a complaint, victim, paranoid, risk, or commit. Those are negative. Neutral is department store, charge, purchase, and proof of ID. It's not going to be on my test, but you may hear the word connotation on my test. So you need to know to make sure that you know connotation is positive, negative, and neutral. I don't know, like I said, exactly what, I don't think it's going to be on Janice's test because it's not grammar, but just so you know the answers. Okay, page 41. So let me just go over this quickly. To rip off means to steal. To clean out means to steal everything. Turn out means result. Put away means put in jail. And watch out for means to be careful. Moving right along. Grammar, page 42. Models of advice will be on the test. Not my test, but Janice's test because she told me already. But she asked me about it, but she didn't do it. I said, no, I did it and I will go over it. So, models of advice, should. Use should to ask for advice. Should I show them proof of identification? Or what should I do if someone steals my passport? So should is asking for advice. Should not, and ought to give advice also. He should get a lockbox. They shouldn't send personal information by email. Okay. You ought to ask your boss to keep your personal information in a locked file. Remember, we don't use should to. So if you see the word to, it has to be ought to. Use had better or had better not to give strong advice. We'd better shred those papers, or you'd better not throw those papers in the trash. So remember, should not, and ought to are advice. But had better or had better not, or strong advice. Okay, so let me just go over the answers for the next one. Okay, A is should. So NASA wants to throw away some old bank statements. He should shred them. Number 2, Mira's mail was stolen. She had better buy a locked mailbox. Make sure you read the sentence carefully so you know which one belongs in it. Number 3, someone called Azim and asked for donation. He shouldn't give out his credit card number over the phone. Number 4, Lily got a bill for charges she didn't make. Shouldn't. Number 4, Lily got a bill for charges she didn't make. She ought to. See, because 2 is there, so you know it's ought. Number 5, Misako got an email asking for her credit card account number. She had better not, because you cannot use ought not. You can never use ought not, and you cannot say should not not. You cannot use not twice. Number 6, Chung Lee gets money from a bank machine. He should make sure nobody is watching. Number 7, the clerk asked Nicola to write her driver's license number on a check. She should not do that. And 8, Abraham got a passport. He had better not lose it. Any questions? Pronunciation, we don't need. Speaking skill, we don't need. Speaking, we're going to do on Tuesday. Okay, so Unit 2, we are finished with the review. Plotting in progress.
Okay. So unit number 1 is called sports and obsession. So in your own words, what is an obsession? What do we mean when someone is obsessed with something? What is an obsession? Anna? Do a lot. What else is that?
Like something very much. Like something very much.
To like something very much.
Yes.
Kelly?
Too much desire.
Too much. So to like something a lot is okay, but too much, to like it too much, to love it too much, to desire it too much, to want it all the time is an obsession. And usually it's not a healthy one. When we talk about an obsession with sports, we're talking about extreme sports, sometimes very dangerous sports. So what kinds of sports can be dangerous that people are obsessed with? And then anything come to your mind? A sport that is extreme, that can be dangerous? Rock climbing. Okay. We watched a video of Alex Honnold's rock climbing. Why was that extreme? Why was that dangerous?
It's nothing, it's no equipment.
No equipment.
Nothing there.
Nothing
Yeah.
to protect him,
Yeah.
to shelter him. What can happen to him if he has no equipment when he's rock climbing way up hundreds of feet into the air? What can happen, Wayne?
It is free.
He calls it free fall.
Yes.
Free fall, meaning he can die. He can die, absolutely. But because he is so obsessed, so in love with his sport of rock climbing, he needs to continue. He needs to take these chances. What do we call it when we take a chance and that chance can be dangerous? What vocabulary word? A risk, taking a risk. Taking a chance that can be dangerous is taking a risk, no question about it. And what do we call that attitude? I'm going to keep on doing it no matter what. Do or die. Yes, do or die. He's always up for the next challenge. What do I mean by the challenge?
Very difficult.
Difficult. So you achieve, you
Yeah,
get to one level,
Yeah.
not good enough. Once you get the thrill, the first challenge, you want the next and the next and the next. Yeah. Why do people participate, engage, get involved? As Zach said, get involved. Why do they get involved in extreme sports? So I once told you that many doctors get involved in extreme sports. Why do you think a doctor might ride a motorcycle over rough land, do a marathon, a whole weekend marathon in the middle of the desert? Why might doctors engage or participate in extreme sports? Do you remember what we talked about from Unit 1?
Or relax, things up yourself.
Okay, to relax, use the infinitive of purpose. When I ask a why, often we answer with in order to relax or to relax. Yes, to relax. To me, I don't see that it's relaxing, but a doctor has life and death in their hands every day. They have to make tough decisions, so much pressure and stress. Perhaps it is to relax, right? All of this built up stress, relax. What is it about Alex Honnold, the rock climber? How did it make him feel when he was rock climbing, doing his free fall that he called it? How did he feel? What made him feel this way?
He's calm and relaxed.
Yeah. Calm and relaxed. Why? Where was he? To him, it was relaxing. He was in the middle of, where was he when he was rock climbing?
Very scared.
We were very scared. Of course, we were very scared. We were holding our breath. But he's in the middle of nature. Him and nature and the sky above. And he wanted to take that risk. He wanted to take that chance. He was born that way. Did you think he was selfish? That's one of our questions. Did you think that Alex Honnold, the rock climber, doing the free fall was selfish? Why?
Was he has parents. The parents both didn't die.
He has parents, mother and father that are alive.
Perhaps his parents worry about what he's doing.
Of course, his parents could worry. Selfish because he's only thinking about his obsession, what he wants to do. His parents could lose their child. Right. Was he single?
You have girlfriend.
He had a girlfriend, but he wasn't married.
He don't want to get married.
He didn't want to get married. He wanted to be single, solo, do this alone. Do you think his girlfriend would be happy?
But his girlfriend, I think his girlfriend liked it.
His girlfriend liked it, right?
Yeah.
Would you like it?
No.
If your husband or your son, I don't know. Way, would your wife like it if you were doing rock climbing, free falling?
No.
No. We have children, we have responsibilities.
My son, is like it. My son, like jump.
Parachute plane from the
Plane jump. He wants teach license.
He wants a license. He wants to get his license
Yes.
in these many hours of practice. Right. Are you happy about that?
I don't try it.
You
Maybe I like it.
so if you tried it, you might like it.
But I have high
Fear.
Fear
of height. Yes, I do too. Vertigo or fear of height. It makes me feel dizzy. Yes, but not your son. So that's good. You didn't pass on your fear to your son. Your son is not afraid.
I don't know. Maybe if he not afraid.
Yeah.
But I like it. He afraid.
You like him to be afraid. I understand.
He saying his son is parachute. Parachute
Parachute
is down.
jumping out of a plane.
Plane is parachute take it
Yeah,
down.
The parachute, yes.
Oh.
Yeah,
I remember my son maybe six.
When he was 6 years old?
6 years old. I didn't. I did. I great.
You brought
Abroad. Thing.
You took him?
Yes.
Yes. No. 安全带我右手抱着。
This is
my hand.
Bungee jumping. Yeah, okay.
Something.
Well,
Very dangerous.
very dangerous. Yeah, I'm sure your wife was not happy. Yeah.
I regret.
You regret doing that. Yeah, it was dangerous. You weren't thinking. You were young and not thinking. Yes. Okay. Is extreme sports the only kind of obsession? Are there other kinds of obsessions? Can people be obsessed with other things? Can you be obsessed with gambling? Too much gambling?
Yeah. Too much gambling.
Yeah, too much gambling. The horses. Betting Las Vegas. Oh. Betting, yeah. Too much.
Looks like mother also. Mother. Mother also gambling.
Obsessed with
Yeah.
Very good, right. What about young girls, young athletes, gymnasts? We read about a gymnast, a young woman, a young girl in high school who was a gymnast. What was her obsession? Who remembers about the young girl? If you are a gymnast,
Tina. She wanna Tina.
she wants to be thin.
Tina. More. She wanna more.
More skin, right, yes. So the gymnasts, young girls who are gymnasts, we saw that in the Olympics.
Yes.
The smaller they are, the thinner, the skinnier they are, the lighter they are, the better they can perform in their event. So many young gymnasts, girls in particular, don't eat. Their diets are not healthy and they lose a lot of weight. We read about someone that was 72 pounds. Dangerous. It is an obsession with not eating and it can be very dangerous and they can die. So obsessions, too much of anything is not good. Too much gambling, too much cigarette smoking, too much eating is an obesity, right? Not enough eating is an obsession. Dangerous sports, an obsession can be an obsession. Yes. So we understand what an obsession is. So Travis Bin in the interview and Alex Honnold were accomplished rock climbers. What do we mean by accomplished? What's another word for it? The synonym for accomplished? Distinguished. Okay. And you can look at our word list. What else? When someone is accomplished, they are successful. They are well versed. They are experts in the field of what they do. Okay. They have practiced. And they are excellent at what they do. They are accomplished. They are successful at what they do. That's a positive. Accomplished is a positive word. Okay. So for us to rock climb without equipment is unthinkable. What does that word unthinkable mean? To do something that's unthinkable.
too scary or something very afraid.
Yeah. Break down the word. We can't even think about it because it's so, can be so dangerous and so awful. Okay. So let's go to page 10 and we're going to do some read aloud. Okay. We will work together. We'll practice our reading aloud. Okay. Page 10. What's the title of this article?
High school,
Go ahead.
high school found hospitalized for eating disorder.
Hospitalized for eating disorder. So now we're going to find out about a very serious obsession, an eating disorder. This is not healthy. Okay. So Zach, do you want to start paragraph 1?
West High School gymnast Ashley Jones was hospitalized Tuesday for complications related to a long
Anorexia nervosa. Everybody, anorexia
Anorexia
nervosa.
Her coach
Diane.
Diane Tonnen said that he will not be returning to the gymnastic
Okay,
team.
gymnastics, right?
Gymnastics.
Gymnastics.
Gymnastics team decision.
Good. Okay. Kelly, number 2.
Really or lost. Not only to the team, but also to Ashley personally. They told me.
So let me stop you there. This is direct speech. How do we know that this is direct speech?
Quotation mark.
The quotation marks, comma, says Coyle. That's who's speaking. Yes, that's exact words, direct speech. Great. Continue, Kelly.
She had hopes of qualifying for the Olympics. But her health comes first, of course. Once she is better, I'm sure she can get back into the sport and go for the gold.
What does that mean? Go for the golds. Remember when we watch videos of the Olympics? Go for the gold. What does it mean?
We can
With the
win the gold
To
medal.
win the gold medal, right? Compete and win the gold medal. Now, yes. Okay, so unfortunately, girls that have anorexia nervosa, we shorten it to anorexia, it becomes a mental, physical, and emotional issue, obsession, and they don't usually get better. It's not easy to get better. It is so severe and dangerous, so many complications, one problem after another after another. So it's unusual for them to get better. They need lots of therapy, lots of therapy. It needs to be caught early on to be able to control and help them. It's very dangerous. And this is a message for anybody with girls, because girls are the ones that suffer from this shamed of their body image. So fortunately, most of you have boys or your girls are older, but beware. It is a very serious disease, mentally, physically, and emotionally. Okay, nicely read, Karen. Kelly, Karen's not here today, sorry. Both with a K. You finished that paragraph, right? Okay, Anna. And it's Dr. Paula Kim.
Dr. Paula Kim, besides
Director
of the eating
Disorder Clinic at
clinic
Santa
and Santa
Anita
Hospital is spending day is not unusual from another.
Okay, so let me read this. Okay, yeah, okay. I don't want you to struggle. That's fine. Dr. Paula Kim, director of the Eating Disorder Clinic at Santa Anita Hospital, explains that it is not unusual. It's not unusual for athletes, especially gymnasts, to become obsessed with their weight. One reason for this is gymnastics. The lighter the body, the more skillfully it can perform. What does that mean? Lighter the body. Louis, what does that mean? The lighter the body, the more skillfully they can perform. Can you explain that in your own words? No? Difficult? You can do it, Louis. All right. Yeah.
Someone is
Jack.
bad. Someone is bad.
Well, yeah.
She can do a lot of acting.
Okay, okay. Wei, you want to add to that? Lighter, not heavy. Not heavy, yes, yes, yeah. So if a person is overweight or not very thin or skinny, right? They cannot perform quickly. Gymnastics needs to be quick, right? Light and quick and agile.
Don't jump higher.
Right, yeah. So it's important that they keep their weight down. But that can be a real problem. So again, for young people that are anorexic, it's mental, physical, and emotional problem. Okay, so let's move on. That is another obsession, eating disorders, right? Okay, so let's go to page 12. Recognizing quotations and reported speech. And for the last 2 days, we have been talking about. Can you tell me the difference between direct speech, quotations, and reported speech?
Which means it is exactly someone said.
Excellent, yes, exactly what somebody says. Okay, so I'm the teacher. The teacher said, what did I say? Think of something I've said today, yesterday, last week. That would be exact, as best as it can be today. What have I said? The teacher said. So what do I need first for reported speech? So the teacher said, right? And what comes next, Kelly? Comma. And then what comes, now I'm speaking. What should I put? Open quotations. Okay. Tell me something I said. I don't even care if you make it up. The teacher said. What did she say? Lana? What did I say?
What did I say?
Okay. Okay. So then I would say the teacher asked. I asked, right? The teacher asked. What did, let's go down over here. I say. Now what? Question mark. That's the punctuation because it's a question. And what should I do? Close quotation. Yes, close quotation. Okay. That is direct speech, right? That's a quotation. You are quoting, citing exactly what I said. Okay. What's something that I've said in your own words? What did I say about an obsession? Not direct. Reported speech. Who remembers something I said about an obsession in your own words? Anna? Hunman? Zach is the only one remember anything I said. Come on.
The teacher say, my husband driving the car
Oh, the other day I said, yes, I told a story
Yeah.
about my husband driving his Wrangler Jeep
Yeah.
and the top fell off.
Yeah.
And it's a true story, right? Yes. So you are remembering something I said and you're repeating my story in your own words. Not exactly what I said, right? But it's your own words. Okay. So, yes, do you remember something else?
The teacher said,
Oh, yes.
uh,
So usually we would
no, don't use quotation.
don't use quotation
Uh,
when it's not direct.
the teacher said, he is handsome.
Who?
He is
Oh.
Bob.
Okay, so usually the teacher said that, relative pronoun, we connect. The teacher said that.
He
Bob is
was,
handsome.
was.
No, Bob said Bob is handsome.
Yeah.
Bob said Bob is handsome, right?
Bob, I say, Bob said that he was,
handsome, right?
said was, says is.
Says is present tense.
Present.
Said, let me put that on the board. You are absolutely right. Yeah. Says is in the present. And remember, we pronounce it like says. That's present tense, right? Past tense, said. So the other day, Bob said he was handsome, right?
All the time.
All the time. Today, Bob said that he was handsome, right?
Bob said,
We're talking about Bob, he's not here.
if you go to the toilet.
Oh, no.
No,
Yeah.
go to the
Washing room. Go to washing room.
To the washroom.
washroom. The other day, Wall Street business say, go business,
Do business, don't go to the
do
bathroom.
business, do business.
The euphemism.
Oh,
Euphemism.
euphemisms, right, yes. Oh, see, you remember what Bob said, euphemisms.
Number one, or do someone business, do business.
Oh.
Don't fire, but it's
An idiom.
yeah.
An idiom. So this is an anecdote. Oh, yes. So I used to have a cat. So has anyone ever had a cat?
Yeah.
So usually when you have a cat, you need a kitty litter, right? Not my house. We had a little window, a cat window. Yes, steps. My cat would climb up the steps, go out the window, do his business outside.
really?
So euphemism, when you work on Wall Street, you are doing business. You don't. My cat did his business outside.
Really?
Okay. Truthfully, yes.
But
I don't lie.
but if you catch do her business and don't go back.
No.
What
And
do
she
you
came
do?
back. She climbed back up it.
Go back again.
Yes, absolutely. Indoor, it was an indoor and an outdoor cat.
But about
Very well trained cat.
about 10 days ago, it's raining. A cat.
It was raining. Yes.
It was raining. When my family go out to flushing.
Flushing.
Yeah.
Yes.
We saw a cat.
In
Cute
your
cat
yes, in your backyard.
stay in front of my house.
Was it your cat?
No.
A stray cat?
After 3 years later, when my family go back to my house, we found the cat stay here too. Stay here.
The cat came back looking for you. The cat stayed there.
It's raining. Before under the window, for the cat stayed under the window. This is my window.
The
This
cat
is,
stayed under your
this is
window,
my,
right?
my house door.
I understand.
This here.
Yes.
For 国语怎么说？国语
For 3 years?
All,
Oh, oh,
all outside running.
while it's raining, the cat
Stay
waited.
out of the linear.
Yeah.
Stay out of the linear
Yeah.
for about 4 or 5 hours. So my son hug the
cat.
cat into my house, and my nephew he is a freshman in the Locus University.
Okay, so we're looking at the diagram, the Venn diagram, overlapping, one circle on top of the other, and where they connect, where they overlap, where they join, tells us what's the same or similar about both. On the outside is what's different. So Alex, what's one thing we can add to that diagram about Alex? The first one is enjoyment of sport. What else? We're looking at the diagram. Wei, what's something we can say about Alex, the rock climber? What can we put there? On page 13, the diagram. Louis, you tell me something. I'll come back to Wei. What else can I put down for Alex? Yeah? Tell me something about Alex. We read about Alex, the rock climber. What can we put down for Alex? We already have enjoyment of sport. Yes, we know. Strong focus, our vocabulary word, yes.
Obviously leads to succeed.
Obsession.
Obsession leads to his success. Okay, but as Kelly said, very important, he was so focused, right? We watched him climb the rocks. He was so focused. Okay, what else can we put down for Alex? Fearless, fearless, not afraid. What else? Competitive for both of them?
No.
Not for
No,
Alex.
Alex, no.
For Ashley, yes. Alex only challenged himself. He didn't compete against anybody else, right? Okay. What else can we say for Alex? Anna?
World
Honey?
seems beautiful.
What?
World seems beautiful.
Yes. The world seems beautiful to him. The world, nature is beautiful. Relaxing, right? Yes. Okay. What about Ashley? Do you think Ashley enjoyed?
No.
No. She was competitive, but couldn't enjoy.
Competitive.
Yeah. Competing. What else can you say about Ashley, a gymnast? Anything else? Was she enjoying nature?
No, it's scary.
The world was scary to her. She was anorexic. She had an eating disorder.
Oh, Ashley Jones is the girl in
The gym,
the disorder.
yes, with a disorder, yes, Ashley Jones, yes. Okay. What about both of them? Strongly focused, yes. Anything else about both? What would be the same? Remember when we compared apples and oranges? We compared a pen to a pencil. I said you can compare anything. What could be the same about both? The rock climber and Ashley Jones. They're both single. Yes, not married. That is correct. What else, Anna?
They want to win.
They want to win. They want to be the best.
Yeah.
Very good. They want to be the best. What else can you say about both of them?
Like sports.
They both like sports. They both are obsessed obsession with sports.
They're both young men,
They're both-
young people.
They're young people, they're both young, very good. Anything else, Hunter? They're both skinny, yes. Okay. So euphemism, if somebody is, there, you said fat. We might say pleasantly plump, a little heavy. That's a better way. That's a euphemism.
Even have it.
Yeah, which is better, skinny or thin? Which is the better meaning? Thin. Women don't want, you don't want to say, you're so skinny. Better way, a euphemism. You're nice and thin, right? Thin. Thin is better than saying skinny, I think. So a little heavy, a little chubby is better than saying fat. Those are euphemisms, a nicer way to say something, right? Like in Barb's unit, you're fired. No, I got a pink slip today. Pink slip usually means you're fired. A nicer way, we're downsizing. You're fired, right? You remember Donald Trump, you're fired? Right, right.
TV show.
TV show? Yeah, they're right, The Apprentice, yes, the TV show, yes, exactly. Okay, so when we use the Venn diagram, it's to compare, to tell what's the same, what's different, okay? All right, let's go to unit 2. Oh, sorry, unit 1, page 16. Classifying. When we classify, we put into groups, nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, parts of speech. So over the past few days, I have been telling you different clues to help you identify if a word is a noun or a verb or an adjective or an adverb. This chart shows us that we can take a root, a beginning word part, and change it. From a noun, you could make it a verb, or you could make it an adjective, or you could make it an adverb. Okay. How can we identify an adverb? Well, it usually comes after the verb. It usually
Ends ly.
okay. It usually, like the word usually, ends in an ly.
But
So-
Brendan is a adverb, adjective. Brendan.
What is
Brendan.
friendly?
It's
Yes, yeah, right.
not a adverb. It's a adjective.
Yes. Remember the exceptions to the rules? Yes, there are many exceptions to the rule. We can say a friendly boy, but what if we say he was friendly? And it's used as an adverb.
Oh, he was a Brendan is a adverb.
And that, then it's, yes, because it's modified. It is giving detail to the verb. So the word always depends on how it is used in the sentence. If it is a noun, if it is a verb, okay. Nouns, how do nouns often end? What are some endings, suffixes for nouns? I-O-N, the shuns, T-I-O-N, S-I-O-n. See, give me an example of a word that ends in shun. Impression, right? Impression. Nation, right? Communication. Okay, so shuns are always nouns. What other endings are nouns? N-E-S-S, as in kindness, happiness, right? Fitness, good, sadness, N-E-S-S. The isms, I-S-M, those are nouns. Remember we learned about sexism, treating one gender, one either female or male, cruelly or not equally, right? Racism, those are nouns. Isms, ness, N-E-S-S. Shuns, I-O-N, the T-I-O-N. Those are nouns. M-E-N-T, government, those are nouns. Commitment, those are nouns. Moment, movement, excellent, movement, yes. And I didn't understand and you showed me. Movement, yes, now I understood, yes, of course. Okay, so let us do a few of these. Let's go to accomplishment. What is the verb? The noun is accomplishment. What's the verb? Look at your chart. Look at your accomplish. Did you accomplish what you wanted to do? Good. The adjective is accomplished. He was an accomplished young man. There's no form of an adverb. Okay. Next word, challenge. That is the noun. What would be the verb? Different forms of the verb. Same. Right, yeah. Yes. Did you challenge yourself to do better? Okay. How about the adjective? Challenging. Rock climbing is a challenging activity. Okay. Complication is the noun. What's the verb? Don't complicate your life. Make it simple. Okay. What about the adjective? Complicated. This math problem is so complicated. Okay. So daring is the noun or a dare. All right. If there's an article before it, or an, if it's a vowel, or the, then it's also a clue that it's a noun. Okay, the verb is, what's the verb? Dare, to dare. I dare you to go out into the rain. I dare you to jump out of the plane. That's dare. Okay. What about adjective? What a daring adventure it was. And adverb. Daringly. He did it in a daringly way. Okay. Some of these we don't often use. Okay. Noun for enormous. What is that? That was a hard one. Enormity. Enormity. The enormity of war. The war in Ukraine. The enormity of it. The hugeness. The horribleness of it. The great destruction. Enormity. It is so important and so large. Yeah. The enormity of the sun. The enormity of the moon. Okay. And then, where'd it go? Okay. So there's no verb for it. We know the adjective is enormous. And what would be the adverb? Enormously, right? Okay. Let's go to the noun for focused. What would be the noun for focus? Focus, right? His focus was amazing. His concentration was amazing. Okay. And the verb also focus. He was so focused on his event. Okay. Let's go to impressive. So this one yesterday, Zach, when you looked it up, you said also impress. Impress is a thing. I believe in the printing press. I think, but we're not talking about that. Remember, I always tell you that one word in English can have many, many, many different meanings. The one that goes with our unit is impression. Impression, okay? All right, impression. Now, he made a good impression. It was a good impression. ION, yes, thank you, honey, yes. And the verb, impress, is the verb. What you impress is, so impress is the verb, impressive is the adjective, and what's the adverb? Impressively, right? He did it impressively. It was amazing. Okay, inspire is the verb. What is the noun? Inspiration. Yes, good. Inspiration. He gets his inspiration from Alex Honnold. Travis Bin got his inspiration from watching Alex Honnold and going to his aunt's wedding in the middle of a beautiful, beautiful vista, in the middle of beautiful scenery. What's the adjective? Inspiring, or yeah, inspiring, and the adverb. Inspiring, right? Inspiringly.
is a noun inspiration, right?
Yes.
Adjective is inspiring. Yes, it sound good. Inspire, inspire.
Inspiring, it was an inspiring adventure, so you can use it that way, yeah. And
Is
again,
a
I
noun.
also
Inspire,
inspiration.
inspiration is different, right?
No, it all comes from the same root. It all
Yeah.
comes from the same root.
Yeah, root, but the pronounce.
Oh, pronunciation,
The
yeah.
pronunciation.
Yes, yes,
different.
very good. Inspiration, right.
Yeah.
Sort of a short I,
Yeah.
but the verb is a long I, inspire, yes.
Inspire.
Thank
another
you.
thing.
Very good, Kelly, very good observation, good, okay. And then obsession, and the verb is to, in the infinitive is to obsess. The adjective is obsessive. The adverb is obsessively. He did it obsessively, okay? Let's move on. Pressure. The verb is to press. The adjective, pressing, yeah, and press, yeah, and, yeah, okay. And no adverb. Risk is the noun. To risk is also the verb in the infinitive. He risked his life, is past tense. The adjective, remember the adjective?
For the risk,
The
the
risk.
verb and the noun is the same.
Yes, yes. Yes, and in the infinitive, you know, in the present tense also. And then risky, it was a risky business, it was a risky challenge, okay? And willingness, your eagerness, you're eager to do something is the noun. No verb in this case. The adjective is willing, and it could be willingly. He did it willingly. Okay, so the adverb gives more detail to the verb. I opened the door quickly. I opened the door slowly, right? I opened the door noisily. I opened the door quietly. These come after the verb and they tell you, often they tell how we are doing something. All right, any questions?
Adjective usually ing and ed last.
Not sometimes.
Complicated ed. This is challenging ing. Complicated ed.
In this
That's
unit,
theory.
yes, but not all the time. Just know that it comes before the noun. It describes the noun, okay? An adjective modifies, it changes the noun. This is the chair, the blue chair. All colors are adjectives, okay? All colors are adjectives. All numbers are adjectives. 1 chair, 100 chairs. Numbers are adjectives. They change a noun.
Teacher,
Yes,
the phone is black. The black is adjective or
always. Color is always.
the
black
black
phone.
is the word black is adjective or verb or adverb.
It's an adjective.
Adjective.
Yeah, in that case, the phone was black.
The black is
Then we're
adjective.
using it as an adjective and as an adverb. But colors are always adjectives. They are, if they come before the noun, they're adjectives, colors, and numbers.
The teacher is Brendan. Brendan is adjective.
Adverb. But,
Adverb.
yeah, but if you say the friendly teacher, then it's an
No,
adjective.
no, I see. The teacher is Brendan.
It's an adjective. Yeah, the word friendly is actually an exception to the rule. That's why I say usually, generally, if a word comes before a noun, it's an adjective.
Yeah.
If a word comes after the verb, it's an adverb. Usually, not all the time. A lot of rules.
But in this sentence, the teacher is Brendan.
It should be an adverb, right? It should be an adverb because it comes after to be, is.
After the be, so it is adverb.
Yes.
The whole sentence I think is the teacher is a friendly teacher.
Then it's an adjective. Then it's
So-
used as an adjective.
So the friendly is a adverb.
Usually, if a word comes defined, gives detail to the verb, it's an adverb. Usually, if it comes before the noun, it's an adjective, right? But there are exceptions to the rules, right? We break rules. That's what an exception is. So sometimes they say to you, friendly is always an adjective, right? Even though it comes in. But if you're in high school, it's used as an adverb then, because it comes after the verb, right? Yeah, okay. Like the word good and well. The good boy, but I feel well. Well is an adverb. Good is an adjective. We say I feel good, but that's wrong. It should be I feel well. Right? But that's everyday English, informal English. We change the rules on our own.
Oh, I feel good. It's okay, but it's
It's really
informal.
I feel well.
It is informal. I feel good.
It's slang in a way. It's not correct English.
I feel good. 正常说应该说 I feel well， 但 I feel good 是口语。
I am so glad you asked questions because that shows you are focused and are observing and you're learning. Okay. English has many exceptions to rules. Let's go to unit 2. Okay. Actually, let's take a break. Okay, so we're on page 25, unit 2, consequences of fraud. All the bad things that can happen to us if we are victims of fraud, deception, scams. We have this problem all the time now. We have to be very careful, but sometimes it's impossible to be too careful. Okay, so let's look at our vocabulary for unit 2. So I'll say the word, you'll repeat it after me. Astonishing. Repeat. Everyone, astonishing. Okay, so when something is astonishing, it could be incredible, amazing, surprising. So, Hanyan, will you read the sentence for number 1 for astonishing on your sheet? Read it, please. Yes, out loud. There is. Good, good. Fraud, yes, fraud, deception. Okay, so we went over this unit and we talked about different ways that we've been cheated. Right? Every day we look on our phone. You won Walmart. I won $100 at Walmart. I never shopped at Walmart. How can I win? I never entered a contest. So we say if it's too good to be true, not true. You come home in the phone. We hear on the phone message. You owe $1,000. If you don't pay this, a marshal will come to your house. A policeman will come to your house. So, have you had any experience with fraud?
We just hang up the phone.
You just hang up the phone. Good for you. You just hang up the phone, don't answer it. As soon as you answer, you hear nothing, hang up, right? Because someone is reading from a script. There's nobody that knows you, but they say your name, Anna. They say Honey. They say Zach. They say Wade. They say Louis. They say Kelly. Or they say your Korean name or your Chinese name. Hang up. If you don't recognize that, don't talk to them. Do not give any information. Okay. Don't give your identification out. Right. Okay. So number 2, fraud.
Fraud.
So fraud is a trick, a scam, something dishonest, something that is not honest. Wait, would you read the sentence under fraud? Long E, remember that when you see two vowels together, we say the first vowel, long sound, cheat. Everyone, cheat.
Cheat.
Okay, we start again. Wait,
Someone out of their money of
possession.
possession.
Okay, a fraud is a trick. Read with me. A fraud is a trick to cheat someone out of their money or possession. Do you see infinitive of purpose? Do you see an infinitive verb there? To what? To cheat. Very good. To cheat. Okay. Number 3, motive. Motive. Repeat.
Motive.
Okay. The motive or a motive is the reason you do something. Why you do it. Okay. So, Anna, would you read that?
And this
Dishonest.
other person motive to trick you into believing them.
Good, and believing them. So a dishonest person's motive is to trick you into believing them. Do you see an infinitive? Do you see an infinitive verb there? To what? To trick. Their motive is to trick. The reason that a dishonest person cheats is to trick you, to cheat you, to steal your information. Okay.
Teacher, I say, dishonest person's motive is he wanted to trick you.
In that case, the reason they do it, no, you would just say it's to trick you. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes in order to doesn't fit. Yeah. It's a good question you asked. Yes. So to impersonate, it's a verb. To impersonate. Everyone, impersonate.
Impersonate.
Okay, so the word person is in that word, impersonate. To pretend to be someone or something you're not. Okay. Frank Abagnale, remember Catch Me If You Can? We saw a little bit of the video. We read about this man. Frank Abagnale impersonated a pilot and a doctor, right? Do you remember who else he impersonated? Kelly, do you remember? A pilot, a doctor, a teacher. He had some nerve impersonating a teacher, a lawyer, a doctor, a lawyer. Yes, he impersonated all of those people. People believed him. Okay, so fake. Repeat, fake.
Fake.
Something that's fake is false, not true, not real. His passport was a fake. Right, a fake. Fake news. Fake news, right? We talked about that a lot. Fake news is not true. No facts. Facts are real. Fake is not. Okay? Facts are real. Fact, yes. Number 6 is deception. Repeat, deception.
Deception.
What part of speech is deception? What is it, a noun, a verb, an adjective, or an adverb? Deception. Noun. It ends in a shun, right? Yes. Okay. So an deception is the act of deceiving or tricking. Many people were fooled by his deception and they believed him. Number 7, con man or con woman, right? A person that deceives you or tricks you to get something dishonestly. Okay, Frank Abagnale was a terrible con man, yes. Number 8, duplicate. Okay, so it can be pronounced duplicate. Then it's a verb. But if we say duplicate, it's a noun. What is a duplicate? A duplicate is a copy. So Kelly, would you read that sentence?
He had a duplicated copy of someone's passport that he stole.
Yes, very good. He had a duplicate copy, right? Okay. Number 9, suspicious, repeat, suspicious.
Suspicious.
So to suspect that someone is lying or dishonest. Okay, Zach, would you read that sentence?
Then the police became suspicious of his activities.
Yes, yes. It took a long time, but they figured it out. And they chased him, but they couldn't catch him, finally. Okay. Number 10, weary. Weary, to become tired. Wait, you're on camera. Wait, get the phone down. Okay, all right. Wei, would you read number 10, the sentence?
The police were wary of trying to catch him.
Yes. What is the infinitive form of the verb there? Do you see an infinitive? To catch, to catch him, right, exactly, good. 11, fishy. Yeah, when something is fishy, it doesn't seem right. Fishy, something suspicious, yeah. Can you think of a situation where something is fishy and you felt it was fishy, it wasn't right? Anything in your life, anything that happened?
Fishy?
Yeah, something fishy. Any situation come to your mind that you can think of that is fishy or was fishy? A phone call, something on the phone, an email, a conversation, something maybe when you were buying a car.
The Putin said that
Yeah.
they are not Nazism in Ukraine.
Very good, excellent. We talked about current events and the war on Ukraine, and we said that according to,
Nazism.
yeah, that Putin told his soldiers that there's Nazism in the Ukraine, so we must attack. And that was fishy. You knew that was fishy. Why? Nazism is a noun, and it is also like racism, genderism, treating people cruelly. Why was it fishy? Why did we think it was fishy?
The president is Jewish.
Yeah, what's the
President is
president's name?
Jewish.
Right, exactly. What is the president's name of President Zelensky? Zelensky has Jewish parents. He's Jewish. How can he be accused of Nazism? Nazism was treating Jewish people cruelly, right? Poorly, badly. How could the president of Ukraine be a Nazi if he was Jewish, right? So right away that was fishy. That was an excellent example. Very good, and we did discuss that. Right? So you understand?
Yeah, I understand. I understand, but that soldier, not Ukraine soldier.
Russian soldiers.
No, Nazism. He say Nazism. Yeah, but Nazism is some from they studying Nazism.
Some
Yes, studying. Yes,
Studying,
yes,
yeah,
studying.
right,
Soldier
okay.
studying.
yeah.
Yes, studying is from
Yeah, neo-Nazis.
Yeah.
Very much in Europe, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Putin say that maybe.
Putin, well, according to what you're saying, Zach, the way I interpret it is that it seemed fishy that Putin wanted to stop the spread of Nazism in the Ukraine. That's the reason he attacked Ukraine. That was one of his reasons. Stop Nazism he wanted to protect the Jewish people in Ukraine, right? But that seems suspicious. Seems suspicious. It was fishy. Yes, we agree. Okay. Putin said he wanted to give them independence, right? He wanted to give the Ukrainian people independence. That was fishy also, right? suspicious. It seemed a little suspicious to us. Yes, good, excellent examples. And weary, yes, become very tired. Not day to day, not, oh, I'm so tired today, I didn't sleep last night. We don't use weary then. But when you are working so hard to do something, you can become weary, right? Fishy, and the last word is honesty. The H is silent. So I wanted to point that out to you, Anna. Dishonest. We don't hear the H. Dishonest. Honest. Repeat honesty.
Honesty.
Repeat dishonest.
Dishonest.
Okay, the H is silent. We don't hear. So honesty is being true. We say honesty is the best policy. Louis, can you read that sentence, please?
Honesty
Her honesty,
was appreciated,
appreciated.
and that is why people okay.
Good, okay. The other day I mentioned, when you see a contraction, say it in the contraction. We know it, that means that is or that was, but say that's. Don't give the two words, okay? Because in English, everyday English, we use contractions. We speak quickly, we combine our words. So we say the contraction, okay? It's not terrible if you don't, but try to remember to say the contraction. Okay, comprende? Understand? Yes? Good, okay. So let's do a little more reviewing. Let me pause. Okay, so we are all on page 32 in unit 2. We're going to read Michelle Brown's story, Identity Theft. What do we mean by identity theft? Stealing your information, your personal, yes, good, your personal information. Okay, what can they steal? What identity can they steal?
Driver license.
Your driver's license, your passport, credit cards,
Library card.
Library card.
library card, okay, sure.
SSN.
Your social security, SS, important. Your resident, your certificates to prove that you are a lawyer or a teacher. Perhaps someone would steal my certificate, my teaching license. Licenses can be stolen, right? Very, very important information that identifies you. Proof. Okay, prove you are a teacher, prove you are a doctor. Anything can be stolen. Your cell phone. What's in your cell phone that's important? Everything. Everything. We used to remember telephone numbers. My first telephone number, when I grew up in Brooklyn, NI9, Nightingale 9, 5656. Never forgot. Now, I don't remember people's phone numbers. Yes, my daughter's phone number, my good friends, my sister. But in my cell phone is all the information. What else is in our cell phone? What other information is stored in our cell phone? Phone numbers.
Phone number.
What else?
PIN number.
PIN numbers. Bank, if you do banking online, right? What else is in there?
Passport or username.
Passport was information, right? If you buy tickets for something, airline tickets is in there, right? Anything you do online, it's in your cell phone, right? If we lose our cell phone or somebody steals our cell phone, we are lost. You are protecting you, not one person, right, right. Okay, So we are going to read this story. An article. We don't know though if it's true or not. But this girl, Michelle Brown, so many consequences of fraud, so terrible, everything that happened to her. Okay, I will begin. All right, I will begin. I'm on page 32. Everybody is on that. Wait for the phone down. Okay. Record. I like the way this begins, like a story, like a movie. It began on a winter day with a seemingly ordinary message on an answering machine. It was from someone at the bank. Something about her new Dodge Ram pickup, and the payment was past due on the loan. So I'm speaking. The bank called and said, you did not pay last month's loan. You did not pay. Okay. Zach, number 2, what happens next?
Marcia Brown was a single woman in her late 20s.
What does that mean? She was single?
Not married.
Not married.
Not married.
Not married. Continue, please. Yes.
She lived in Southern California and worked as a credit analyst.
Credit analyst, right? It's pretty ironic. It's pretty funny that her credit was stolen and she is an credit analyst. Yes. Continue.
She was cheerful and people found her fun to be around. Friends were always telling her how she was too nice. She worked hard and was tidy with her finance. She owed 15 credit
Oh my
cards,
goodness, 15 credit cards.
but had never been late on a single payment, even since
Ever.
or ever since she was 17. She had a perfect credit.
Perfect credit, right.
credit. She liked everything in her life to be perfect.
Okay, so, and you read that perfectly. You read perfectly, beautifully pronounced. Yes. Okay, but perfect. Okay. Can we be perfect? Can we control everything and make everything perfect? She had a lesson. Okay, I will read 3. She returned the call. She told the bank officer that there had to be a mistake. She hadn't bought a truck. That means she doesn't own a Ram truck. Okay, right? The officer quickly agreed that he must have the wrong Michelle Brown. The phone numbers on the credit application weren't working. To prove beyond a doubt that it was another Michelle Brown that he was searching for, she told him her social security number. She was stunned. It was the same one that was on the application. So let me see if you understand this. She gets a phone call from the bank. The bank says, I'm sorry, but you missed your payment. You owe last month's payment on the Ford Ram truck. Michelle Brown says, oh my goodness, you must have somebody else. There must be another Michelle Brown. I don't own a truck. He says, well, let's check your social security number. Why is that? Was that a mistake? What did she do next? She gave him her social security number. Is it really the bank calling her? No. This is fraud. This is a scam. Instead of saying, well, what social security number do you have on the application? She gave her social security number. And now this man has her social security number. He tricked her. Okay. Kelly, will you read number 4? Yeah.
He called also credit reporting
Agencies, yes.
and told them there's something fishy.
Fishy, right?
was going on. They put a fraud or
Alert.
left on her credit and promised to send out a report on her recent purchase. She checked with the Division of Motor Vehicles.
The DMV, you know, the DMV, Department of Motor Vehicles, yep, go ahead.
And learned something astonishing. A duplicate driver's license had recently been issued to Michael Brown.
Michelle
Michelle
Brown.
Brown.
That's all right.
Someone else was using her name, her address, her social security number, and her driver's license. It was
As if,
as if someone was slowly erasing her identity.
okay, so let's explain what happened to Michelle Brown. Lewis, what happened?
Then something fish.
Something was fishy. What? Why? Did she own a truck? No,
No,
no, she doesn't own a truck. Somebody else has her social security number, her driver's license, or her identity. And what did they do? They bought a truck. What else did they do? They got a driver's license. Is it a man or a woman? It must be a woman, because Michelle is the name of, is it a woman's name? So a woman stole her identity, her social security number, everything, all of her identity. And now they can do anything they want. They can buy anything that they want. So she called the bank. That was smart. Immediately, but she has 15 credit cards. She has to call all 15 credit companies, close out all those accounts. Her credit is spoiled. Everything is ruined. That's how serious and dangerous fraud can be. Do you understand? All they need to do is steal your name, your address, your social security number. She has perfect credit, so that somebody else could pretend to be Michelle Brown and open credit cards, buy with a lot of credit on it, because she has perfect credit, and go out and buy anything, a Gucci handbag, right? Poor Michelle Brown, she has big problems. So that's what this is about. Okay, let's continue. Very, very dangerous. That's why you must protect your identity. How can we protect our identity? What is one way to protect your identity?
Just like Kenny use what is this?
Carry
What is this?
some,
What is this?
It's a tie.
it's a
Hi.
yeah, carry it over, yes, carry your phone over here. It's heavy though, isn't it heavy? It might hurt my back.
That's the school.
Just in school, just in school.
Yeah, because I'm
you all
driving
the time.
school again. Yeah, when I was curious, every time I
Tourist, right?
Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah.
that's very good when you're traveling.
Yeah.
This,
Small bag in here, everything.
she,
Hi.
hi.
Yeah, it's sort of a tie that clips on, yes.
If she,
In the back, they can take it away. They can, yeah,
take it away.
yeah, they can steal it.
Yeah, close to small bag, no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's difficult for men because men keep their wallet
Yeah.
in their pocket. So it's easy to be, the pocket to be pickpocket, right? Can steal it. Women, we can wear the bag, but men should wear it also. when
Yeah,
you're
now
traveling.
men, men, a lot of people live there.
This action, word.
Sort of like a,
How do we call this action?
protection. Well,
These are the
it's
female.
really a bad,
It's
a bad, a bad, yeah, yeah. A shoulder bag,
Yeah, sure, the way.
Yeah, I have a question.
yes. A question I can answer?
My wife go to work to account office. She can get a lot of
People's
social-
information,
yes, people information about social security number,
yes,
name, address. So this is easy to
it's easy, well,
to get
yes. And your wife is
from
honest.
from account office.
Yeah,
Accountant,
yes.
accountant office.
Account office.
Can't do it.
Accountant
An
office.
accountant.
Accounting.
Accounting
Yeah,
office,
accounting.
In the approve of tax.
Yeah,
Tax,
taxes.
Tax.
yes, tax office, okay, so,
Apple 15.
yes, okay, so
The date.
let
the
me,
date.
yes, so let me, April 15th, taxes,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay, so let me explain that situation. You were bringing up a very good point. Your wife is honest, but not everybody is honest. Now they work in an office, a clerk, a secretary, and there's all our information. So as a teacher, our social security card, we go to doctors in the union doctors. There's our information. Now they changed it. Now our cards have encrypted information. So it's not my social security number. It's letters and it's a different number. But 10 years ago, yes, anybody in a doctor's office can get my personal information. They could sell it, right?
What? They what?
They could
卖
sell.
掉，我们这么也这样，卖掉。
Oh,
Oh,
sell
sell.
Some
information.
content, they
No,
information, they want.
No, but
Someone.
dishonest people
About someone.
have sold it, sure.
I have many information.
You have, yes,
Everybody do.
My wife,
Daddy.
remote this
What?
account
remotely,
office.
right,
Remotely.
yeah. So how do we protect ourselves?
Yeah, how to protect
It's very
our
hard.
information.
It's very hard, especially so many people are so skilled online, they can hack into anything, hack into government offices, hack into universities, change marks in the university, right? How do we protect ourselves? It's very hard. Every day it gets harder and harder to protect ourselves from fraud, from the consequences of fraud. That's why you have to watch, check your bank accounts often, right? Make sure, check your credit cards. When you get your bill, you have to make sure you made the purchases that you bought, right? She's laughing. You don't check. Your son-in-law,
So in China, pay the bill, need credit password. This is important.
Usually,
I will pay, I will use the password.
in China, if you use the credit card, you need to enter the PIN or password.
right?
Usually,
So you need two forms of identification, right? Yes.
Yes.
To protect you. So
Yeah,
in China, are you protected?
Yes.
Yes. You are, yeah, that is very important. You're right. You know now, if you eat in a restaurant and you pay with a credit card and you sign, anyone
No.
can sign your name. They don't check the
Yes.
signature, right? You're right. It is very, in this country, it is becoming very easy to commit fraud, to be a victim of fraud, of it happening to you.
His password is only, I know, another no. Another no, the password.
Right, right.
You need to.
You have to keep changing your passwords, right?
Yes.
unit.
You need.
unique
Unique.
or
Yeah.
vocabulary word, yes. Yes, you have to make it different, special, keep changing it and make it unique, yes.
Can
Yes.
you change it? Once you change it, you are forget it.
I know.
Once change it.
I know, and many people put it in their phone. So if you lose your phone, all your information is there. I write it down, but if you do it quickly, you forget. You always forget, I know, and then you have to keep changing it. So maybe that's a good thing, to keep changing it. Maybe it's good to forget. It's annoying, but you have to keep changing, and right, that's what you can do, so. Okay,